Hello, Megan. All right, I got your post here, Toys for Tots. Toys for Tots it is. Let's go ahead and take a look. Where did I go? Here I am, right over here. Okay. I was reading through your writing, and this is good stuff, Megan. This is really good stuff. I think the interesting thing here is how people kind of react to Toys for Tots, specifically that we all remember Toys for Tots as kids, whether it be receiving from Toys for Tots or whether it be our parents inducing and influencing to give our own used toys to Toys for Tots. So I think it's a really, really good choice because we can all relate with this. And I just love this story. This got me. This is so cool. The fact that your mom took you to donate to Toys to Tots, and now you're taking your daughter. That's really good stuff, man. That's cool. All right, so now this is great. You've got your font considerations, you've got your color consideration. This is fantastic. Now, in terms of presentation, for some reason, your bottom fonts, I'm not real sure how this works, but the top fonts are like really super crystal clear, but the bottom fonts are really pixelated. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I just want to make you aware of that. Good job including your link. So you've got your font choices. Now I want to make a comment on these choices. Now it's Vivas Noia, the light font, and Marvelous Sans. So the Vivas Noia is they're all great typefaces. I think of the three, my least favorite is the light font, and the only reason I say that is because it's really really super tall. I don't see the lowercase letters, so I can't comment on the X height, but I can say that the width to height relationship in this typeface is extremely unusual because the letters are really tall but super narrow. So be careful how you use that, specifically in body copy. Um, when you're selecting fonts, a lot of times instead of using, okay, so for example, you've got this Vivas Noia and then Marvelous Sans. So a lot of times what's a really good idea is instead of mixing sans serif typefaces, which you're perfectly capable, I mean, you're perfectly fine mixing sans serif typefaces as long as they're not too visually similar. I tend not to mix sans serif typefaces I use a sans serif typeface that has enough styles in it that I can use let's say a bold or a bold black or a wide black in conjunction with a light or a narrow, something that indicates thick stroke, and then something that indicates thin stroke. And if you can find typefaces like Universe that have just a wide variety of styles, then you can use one typeface and get the same typographic variety that if you were to, let me rephrase that, you can use one sans serif typeface and get as many styles as you need, and then you can mix that for a variety with a serif typeface. This typeface right here, it looks like this is called Toy Train. I would probably stay away from something like this. I would rather see you illustrate something. This, of course, is going to be used very, very limited, right? The problem with using a typeface for something like really super decorative like this is that, okay, so you put this toy train, and maybe let's say you put just one or two words like give for Christmas or something like that in toy train. What's going to happen is there's a likelihood that the viewer would be able to, if the viewer recognizes this as a typeface, then it's kind of like, okay, you've used this illustrative typeface that anyone can use, so where is the design in that? Do you see what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. I try to stay away from super decorative illustrated typefaces like this. And I'll just illustrate my own type, and I would illustrate my own train and place the cards in it if I had a situation that called for that. Okay, that way, somewhere down the line, my client or somebody that's viewing the brochure can't go look at it and just eliminate the possibility of the viewer being able to go, wait, I saw that typeface used somewhere else, and it kind of takes the exclusivity away from the the project. Does that? I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know because I really want that to make sense. All right, your sketches look great and each one is described beautifully. One thing I see, and please decide which direction you want to move forward. Once you start doing some of your digital mock-ups, you're going to get some really great ideas on what is going to work, what's not going to work. Between now and then, one thing I really want you to do, two things. Number one, go out and just do a Google image search, trifold brochure, and you'll see many, 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 many examples. So I want you to do ample visual research and review as many samples of trifold brochures as you possibly can. At that point, I want you to review this lecture right here, Project 2, Part 1, Planning and Sketches, and really go through this little lecture right here. It gives you some really good tips. One of the things I see in your sketches is the orientation. What I want you to do, Megan, is, oops, sorry about that. What I want you to do is I want you to fold a piece of paper. It's a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and all I've done is I folded it. Let me show you this way. I folded it twice, once like this and once like this, just like a trifold brochure. Then what I want you to do is I want you to take your pencil and I want you to write the word front on one side, okay? And then I want you to fold this up. Either that or look at a pre-existing trifold brochure to see where the front panel goes. The front panel doesn't go right here. The front panel, once you open it up flat, the front panel would go on the right side, the right third of the panel, and the back would go on the middle of that panel. Okay, so again, in summary, the front, if you have if your trifold folded flat and laying out on the table, this would be the front, this would be the back, this would be an additional panel, and this would be the inside. It's really important that if you take a look at your sketches, you're not depicting, although you do depict that here. So I do believe you are seeing what I'm saying. Yeah, so this would be the front and the back. So this one is set up correctly. This one isn't, because right now this acts like it's acting as the front of the brochure, right? And this would be, so this wouldn't work. If you were to draw this out, sketch this out, and fold it up, cut it out and fold it up, you would see it wouldn't work. The front would have to be over here. Now that brings me to another really interesting layout decision in that particular case. What you could do is, I think that really neat thing to do is to, okay, so you have your front and you have your back, then you have your additional panel there that you would design, and then the inside panel, you've got this double fold. So when you open up the inside panel, okay, this opens up first, all right? Then you would open this flap to reveal this panel here. A really neat thing to do is to design this as a full bleed, these two panels. You can even design the entire inside as a full bleed, meaning that each panel works this one composition instead of 3 columns of composition. Does that make sense? I think a neat configuration is to have the center, you open up to review the center of the brochure, and then you have one panel over here and then a double spread over here with maybe like an infographic, or in this case the bear and the other information. So think about that, think about it, and definitely fold up a piece of paper so you can take a look and see exactly how that works, which panel corresponds to the front, which panel corresponds to the back, and then which panels correspond to the interior, which that part's easy. It's the front and the back you're after. All right, so great writing, great presentation, good rationale, really good thought process so far. Good job on your color and type considerations, and really great job so far. So at this point, as usual, let's go ahead and you make your final decisions, keep working, and decide which direction you would like to proceed with, and go ahead and let me know if you have any questions. Now, be on the lookout for the announcement for next week, because in that announcement I will have a tutorial on how to set up, and I'll have a tutorial on from lynda.com on the actual trifold brochure, as far as setting up the document and designing the document too. So look for that. That shall be there Monday morning, bright and early when you wake up and enter the class. Or whenever you enter the class Monday, it'll be there waiting for you. And I'll post it on Sunday night too, so if you want to take a look then, it'll be there. All right, cool. Any questions at all, please let me know. I'll be glad to make any necessary clarifications. All right, cool. Thanks, Megan.